What's up guys, Ivan Carranza here, and today we're taking a look at some of the new products released for NAMM 2020 that have caught my attention. I didn't get to attend NAMM this year, I'm here in Germany, but I've been keeping track of what's been released on social media the past few days, videos and Instagram posts, and I've checked out the forums like Talkbase or websites like No Travel and Bass Musician Magazine to stay up to date with what the companies have put out for NAMM 2020. And like I said, this is a list of stuff that have caught my attention. It's not like the best gear or all the gear that's been released, but just some things that I found to be interesting. And just to be clear, these are in no particular order. To start off the list, we've got the Sandberg Lionel 30-inch scale bass. Now this looks pretty much like a short scale P bass, but I like P basses. Where I was going is there's a bass player here in Germany called Christian Frese who plays a variation of that model that has two Thunderbird pickups, kind of like in a jazz bass configuration. And he's been posting a lot about it. He's been pretty happy with it. And that definitely caught my attention as well, because I like P basses. Sandberg makes great instruments. And also, I have to say, short scale and medium scale basses definitely feel really comfortable for my hands. You don't have to stretch as much, and they definitely have a lot of low end, and they sound very thick and punchy. So I'm really curious about testing that one, because it's a combination of a lot of stuff that I actually like. I would be curious to know if they're gonna be only like active or passive only. I prefer passive basses in general, but getting all those variables put together on short scale P bass, great quality offered by Sandberg, so I'm very intrigued by that. For place number 2, we've got the Aguilar DB925 boost pedal, and we know Aguilar makes great amps, pickups, and preamps. So this definitely caught my attention, especially because of the size. You can see it's a very small pedal that you could fit in pretty much any pedalboard setup, and you would get the Aguilar sound if you're looking for that. So I've done a demo on the Tone Hammer, which is a great sounding DI. It's rather big, but it definitely sounds great. If you could take that sort of character and put it on the smaller footprint, I think that would be definitely very interesting. Talking about DIs, preamps, and EQs, on place number 3, we've got the IvanBassist vintage preamp. And I'm gonna be pretty honest, I usually don't bond that well with IvanBassist amps, but I note that their compressor, the tube compressor, I think it's called the IvanBassist Compressore, sounds very nice, sounds really warm and fat. If they can take that character and put it on this new preamp, which has a tube in it as well and a lot of EQ options, I think that's going to be very, very interesting for those looking for a warmer sounding fat tube DI. And I don't know what the price point is, but knowing IvanBassist, I don't think it's going to be priced that high. So I'm very curious about that. On place number 4, we've got the Geddy Lee DI 2112. And I would say this is kind of like the middle brother of the line of Geddy Lee products made by Tech 21, because at the top we've got the rack mount Geddy Lee 2112. Then it would come the new one, the DI 2112. And then you've got the YYC Geddy Lee pedal, which I've done a demo on, and I really, really like it. If you're following the channel, you probably know I've said this more than a couple of times, and I'm gonna put a link to the demo here. But the new DI lets you split your signal a bit more precisely. You get a dual output on the direct out. You can take 2 XLR cables to front of house or to your recording interface, and you can really dial in the low side of your signal and then the drive side. And you can do the same thing and runs 2 amps if you want, because you also get dual 1/4 inch outputs. And the cool thing is that if you don't want to use 2 amps, like I'm pretty much, I don't know anyone who wants to carry 2 amps to stage, you can take one of the 2 1/4 inch outputs and the signal is summed together and then taken from there and you can use only one amp, but you're still getting all the benefits of crossover distortion. So you're gonna be able to dial in, like I said, your lows, your highs, and then take that to the amp, and you can send them still both separate signals to the PA or to your interface. So that's pretty cool. I'm very excited to give that one a try. Speaking of crossover distortions, the next place goes to the orange bass Butler. And what caught my attention was that, of course, it's a crossover distortion pedal. You know, you get to control your lows and your drive side. But what they're doing is, and I hope I understood this correctly, is that the low side has a cap sim built in, you know, and it's mimicking a bass cabinet. And the drive side has a cap sim, but of a guitar cap. So you're getting a different kind of distortion than some of the pedals that are out there at the moment, which I think is going to be pretty interesting. And you can also bypass the cap sims, I think, by taking the 1/4 inch out. I don't remember exactly, but it looks definitely interesting. If you like orange amps and their distortion circuits, which are pretty good if I may say so, I think you're definitely going to have to take a look at this pedal, the bass Butler, because you're going to be able to even you know, dial in a more focused, more precise kind of distortion. Now, the next place goes to the Neural DSP Quad Cortex unit. I don't want to call it a pedal because it's a multi-effect processor modeling. It's a lot of things into one. There's a lot of buzz going on about it right now because the guys of Neural DSP, you know, they've made great plugins, especially for guitar, also for bass. The Parallax plugin is really good. And you know, the CEO Doug Castro is the one who runs Darkglass, if you don't know, and Darkglass makes definitely great pedals. And they've decided to enter, you know, Neural DSP decided to enter the hardware world with this unit now. And I have to say, I've watched some videos, and also there was a Q&A that I watched, and for me, at least at the moment, it seems like a very promising work in progress. During the Q&A, Doug explained that there's a lot of the effects and amps and sims and still of the routing and decisions that they haven't made yet. So they definitely have a solid idea and already have a, you know, finished unit, a hardware, physical, and they just need to figure out some things to make it better for the user. But I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see the end product, which is going to be released in November 2020. No, sorry, September 2020. And you can place a pre-order at the moment. The first batch of pre-orders sold out, I think, in one day. And they run the second batch, which should ship in November. The first one ships in September. But I think it's going to be pretty interesting. If you like, you know, modelers like or profilers like Helix or Kemper, and you need a lot of effects at your disposal, I think it's definitely going to be interesting. As far as I know, they haven't released any bass demos or bass amp demos, so I'm curious about that. But definitely looks very promising at the moment. I think we all have to, you know, keep an eye on that. But like I said, to me, it sounds still like a promising work in progress. And the last thing on the list is an Ibanez bass. And it's not one of the headless models. I've gotten a bunch of comments and messages about the video that I put. I'm going to put a link here, a card for you to check that out as well. People, you know, have been asking a lot about them. But there's also another bass that I tested, which was a TMB 35. This is a short scale 5-string bass. It's pretty much a PJ bass. And it sounded really growly and, you know, aggressive. I really like that tone. But the bass that I'm talking about for the list is the TMB 500, not the 35. This one is a full scale version, so a 34-inch scale bass. But the finish, first of all, I'm not a big fan of solid or sparkle finishes, but that one really caught my attention. I really like the way it looks, especially combined with the roasted maple neck. And if it sounds close to the TMB 35, you know, that growl, that aggressive P-bass tone, I'm definitely gonna want to play it. I was very pleased when I picked up the Tolman basses. They felt good. The neck was quite different from what Ibanez basses actually, usually are, which are very thin and sleek. This one was more, definitely chunkier, but felt very comfortable. So I'm curious to give that one a try. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments which pieces of gear that were released during NAMM 2020 caught your attention, because I would like to know that as well. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.